Hi Aquarius, welcome to your June horoscope for 2020. I'm doing a separate video because we just have so much going on in June, so I figured why not just do a short little video on let's talk about the four major situations going on and then two really positive ones at the end of the month. Actually, there's more than two positive ones, but I do want to say this is going to be a bit of a roller coaster month. June's going to be a lot, very active. We got a couple of eclipses, retrograde. We have a lot going on, right? Now, those of you who watched my last tarot messages, I did mention the lunar eclipse energies, but those of you who didn't watch, I'm going to start off by mentioning those because we do have that starting at the heading of the month on June the 5th. And we have this happening in your 11th house. So first of all, why don't we talk about what is a lunar eclipse? I mean, let me just say that this is going to be a little bit of a trippy one because it is happening in the South Node, Sag, right? Sagittarius is that South Nodal energy, which is really going to be asking us to kind of give up something having to do with what we believe in whatever area that it hits. And Sagittarius says, well, our belief system, right? And so that is to begin with. But in addition to that, it happens to be squaring Mars and it happens to be opposing Venus retrograde. So we have these wonky energies all in there together, and it's kind of not the best omen for love relationships. Strong relationships are going to withstand the test through patience and unconditional love and being able to just really kind of like work through the necessary process of it all. But it's going to be fine if you guys are in like a pretty good relationship. But this does pose a real threat to strained relationships. Impatience, sexual frustration, lack of self-control could turn love to hate, resulting in impulsive actions and even hostility. And I don't mean to be negative, but like the energy is going to be like, woo, you know what I mean? Like right up on that surface. So the lunar eclipse, it's a regular full moon, only stronger, okay? And it brings your home, family, intimate relationships into a sharper focus. Opposing forces such as like work versus home, or, your wants versus your needs in certain areas are going to be at play. But, the reason it involves, home and family and all that is because the moon naturally rules Cancer, which is the fourth house of home. So, that energy is in there for everybody to begin with. So everybody's just going to be thinking about, if I had to put it in one word, it'd probably be safety more than anything, safety. Yeah, definitely. But a lot of energy is going to be, really pushing us to look at the relationships in our life and how safe we feel in these specific areas that are going to be impacted. So again, yeah, we have, eclipsing Mars here. Yeah, I mean, so this again could bring some simmering anger to the surface. So you want to be careful of not engaging in an, trying not to incite arguments, trying to rise above wherever you can. And having with the lunar eclipse Venus here, this brings the potential for laziness, gluttony, carelessness, particularly with money, and it's some sort of indiscretion in love. You will likely want more love and affection, but at the same time have trouble giving it. So it's like a very interesting energy in that way. So just understand, everybody's going to be feeling a little more moody at this time, definitely, within this energy. So just something to keep in mind. Now, you happen to have this lunar eclipse happening in your 11th house, which has to do with friendships, right? So it's naturally associated with Saturn, Uranus, as well as you guys as Aquarius. And so it's in your house already, and you're very comfortable in this house. But having the retrograde in there, you're going to be asked to sacrifice and to really sacrifice something in this area where you need to make a change in your belief system in this area having to do with your friends. And it's going to come actually, I feel like, pretty natural for you. So the energy of this house brings on the urge to become something greater than what you already are and to move beyond this image of yourself that exists right now. So you're going to be rethinking a lot of things. You're going to be rethinking your current friends, the groups that you associate yourself with, as well as your larger goals, your objectives, your hopes, your wishes, and for where, and when I say wishes, I mean like where it is that you see your life going, and so you may be doing some changing here. This energy pushes you to pay particular attention to the very serendipitous things that occur in your life as you're moving forward on this path that you've set for yourself. So it's like you're on this path, Aquarius, but these things are going to be boop, popping up, and they're going to be like, pay attention to me because I might be your more authentic path, or I might be that tweak in the trajectory of your path that, that you really, really need. And, because there are things that you're going to be encountering while pursuing it every day where they're going to be like these serendipitous, like little nuggets of truth while pursuing your everyday, right? To let you know where you need to go. And often it's what you need to return to, right? So, so it's kind of a big house in that way. So this can certainly have to do with career because it has to do with your life goals, right? Your objectives, what it is that you want, rethinking the groups that you're associated with right now, maybe reconnecting with some people who you were once with, if that resonates with you. But there are going to be shifts here. And as far as how you view, more than anything, I get, this desire to move beyond this image that is of self, that you have of yourself right now. So that's going to be happening with the lunar eclipse energy. Then on the 18th, we have Mercury going retrograde in Cancer. So whenever we have a Mercury retrograde is always that third house energy, that sixth house energy, because Mercury rules Gemini, which is the third house of communication, and Virgo, it rules our day-to-day. It rules our health, right? So when Mercury goes retrograde, we're taking a look at these things. We're looking at our health. We're looking at our day-to-day. We're looking at how we communicate. There may be a lot of snafus having to do with, communicating and technological devices as well. Now, Uranus rules actual technology, right? You guys do. Your ruler, Uranus. But Mercury rules the communication via the technology, right? So things can go wonky in that way. Misunderstandings, your technology can go a little crazy. Your car can have issues. These are potentials, right? Certainly not if you have natal retrogrades present in Mercury. You guys would have a better experience with it if natally you have retrograde placement there. But other than that, so that is generally what it means. Again, so that's generally Mercury retrograde, right? Now it's happening in the house of home. It's happening in that in Cancer, in that fourth house energy. So it's communications being really wonky, particularly having to do with safety, having to do with things that, we connect to like family, having to do with home, things that have to do with our safety again, right? So that's going to be kind of front and center. So that's a Mercury retrograde energy, and that's going to be happening on the 18th. So we're going to be looking at all of these things. Now, guys, because Mercury retrograde is in the house of home, in Cancer, and Cancer is the house of home, probably not the best time to find a house to purchase, because you may end up realizing that there are things hiding, beneath the floorboards and behind the walls that you didn't anticipate. But if you found a house already, right, and everything started, right, everything got going already, whatever it is, before the retrograde hit, then you're fine. You're good with it. It's just not a good time to find something brand new. Wait until everything goes direct, right? Towards the end of the summer. But now, still hanging in that sixth house, on the 21st, we have the solar eclipse in your sixth house going on. Now, the solar eclipse is happening in the North Node, which is Gemini. So you're going to have a Geminian gift brought in. So what I think is kind of interesting here is that Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So it's definitely going to soften the Mercury retrograde that's going on in there, but there's this gift coming in. This gift coming into your day-to-day. So this could have to do with a change in your day-to-day work environment, some sort of gift having to do with how it is that you take care of yourself. It could be literally just epiphanies about this new way of, like, with the Mercury retrograde in Cancer, you realizing that you have to give up a certain habit that you have that's not serving you. Give up a certain way of eating. It's time that, you give up something that is some sort of work environment that's really not healthy for you, some sort of goal in your everyday, some sort of behavior in your everyday that's not serving you. And then we have the solar eclipse, which is if you're giving something up, there's something that's coming in as a gift to replace it. So let's say you had to, with that Mercury retrograde in Cancer, maybe you lost your job. With that solar eclipse, it brings another job in. It brings another, situation in that's very benefic in your day to day. If you are, let's say, just for example, let's say this is great energy if you drink too much, right? If you abuse alcohol or whatever, any kind of substance, and you're giving it up in the retrograde, you're realizing you have to give it up. It's going to happen very easily. It's a very beautifully supportive energy with the solar eclipse there. So you follow, you get it? So it's like almost like the swapping out of energies that's going to happen. And I like that they're so close together because it's very supportive. Because Mercury retrogrades on the 18th and the solar eclipse is on the 21st. And then on the 25th, we have Venus finally going direct in your 5th house of fun. So this is really great. The 5th house is the natural house of Leo. It's, ruled by the sun, naturally associated with those. What is the 5th house? The 5th house is love affairs. The 5th house is boyfriend-girlfriend connections. It's what you do with your partner on a Sunday through Monday time period. It's how you guys connect. It's what you guys do for a good time. It's the act of sex. It's not that soul connection, that's 8th house, but it's the act of sex. It's what you guys do for a good time. It's also the relationship with your children. It's also gambling. So hopefully you guys haven't been gambling while Venus has been retrograde in Gemini in your 5th house. But what happens here when Venus goes direct in Gemini, it's like Venus is born in your 5th house. So for some of you, this can very directly be something wonderful happening in the life of your children, or some of you even conceiving, at this time. This could be a new relationship coming in, a new love affair, you meeting, a new love affair coming into your life. For some of you, this could be, if there's been any strain in the Venus retrograde in your ability to connect with your partner, that's going to be lifted. So any sort of restriction. So, I am kind of like vibing this, with the 5th house energy. Those of you who are in relationships and you haven't really been able to go out and do much of anything, maybe not even being able to quarantine together, you're going to start to be able to have more of a connection and like, really positive. It's very benefic, right, for love affairs and sex and connection in that way. But again, it can also indicate, because Venus is being born in there and it's about love affairs, you could certainly be meeting somebody new. It's very benefic energy to meet somebody new. Discovering something that you really connect with, that you just love. 5th house also is about your own business, right? Because if it rules our kids, anything that would be considered kids, right? So it would be our pets, it would be our businesses, right? It would be anything like that. Well, pets is actually more of a 6th house thing, but things that we would mother, things that we would parent, that would also have to do with a business, something that you really love to do, and then you end up turning it into a business and it really being positive, guys, because Venus is not only about money, right? Venus is one of the money planets. So it's a money planet. It's also things we value. So it has to do with our self-esteem. It has to do with our self-value, our self-worth. So that it's being born in there, that's a really great energy. Now, the only thing I want to say is we do need to be mindful that we do still have some retrogrades going on. So whatever is going to be happening now towards the end of June, it's going to be like, I just keep calling it like an incubation kind of phase, a marinating kind of phase. Lots of planning, lots of research. All of this is very, very positively aspected to be happening at the end of June. And you're going to feel so motivated to do it because of two really, really cool transits that are happening here. We have Mars entering Aries. Yes, Mars rules Aries. They like hanging out together. This is a good thing. And this happens again on the 27th. This is very forward looking. This is being more comfortable to take a certain amount of risk, right? Remember, Mars, Aries, it's the Emperor energy in tarot, right? So it's about being very forward thinking, fresh perspective, new path, let's go. It's like, and I always say Mars is the one who's like, come on, Aquarius, let's go. This path is a better one for you, right? So really good about fresh initiatives and all of that. So that's really good. And then a few days later on the 30th, we have the second of Jupiter conjunct Pluto. Jupiter is about luck and expansion. Pluto is about transformation. So it's this expansion of this transformation that's going to be happening. And having it here, it's what we need right now, guys. This is so what we need. It is this push forward. And the strongest focus, the most positive way to use this transit is to better ourselves. So we're going to be in this energy where it's like, all right, toothpaste is out of the tube. Did I lose my job? Am I working differently? What's the dealio? My career? What's happening with that relationship? What's the deal with my living situation? What's going on? And really kind of looking at everything and making this very, there's going to be just more clarity. It's not going to be 100% clear, but there's going to be a lot more clarity about direction and focus. And you're just going to know better what to do. We're going to be getting out of this wonky fog of just May has just been like trying to make sense, being in the middle of like a twister, you know, because of all the retrogrades going on. But I do like this. This is about faith being restored, you know, deciding to invest your time, energy, maybe even money into some sort of ambitious new project, which I do see a lot of you guys doing with that fifth house energy, just something that you really, really love. But this generally does favor big business, laws, grants, taxes, education, commerce. Guys, these are things that are going to get taken into the economy. We're going to start going. You know, it's like this move towards, as you know, this horrible new saying that we all have to adopt is this new normal, right? But at least we're going in that direction. And there's no question that it's happening. There is no question. I mean, unless you are living like 100% hermit and you're not engaging in like whatsoever, you're feeling the changes that are going on. You really, really are. So there's a lot of good stuff happening the end of June. I really like it. So, you know, for you guys, again, it's going to be about a lot's going to be happening on that day to day, you know, that lunar eclipse is going to be hitting. You know, really looking at your associations and your goal, the goals that you have in life, and maybe realizing that you need to change things up in the path, maybe, and not like that, but you're going to be having the epiphanies. The seeds are going to be planted here, which is really, really great. And I just love Venus being born in your fifth. So I see this as a really, really, really good month for you guys. It's going to start off a little stressful. The first half will be, but it's going to get a lot better, believe me, as it progresses. So, yeah. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.